is staying in MTGO Masters and who is, that's right, being eliminated for the rest of the event. Now, Nika, you take a look at these opening hands. What is your take on this?
My take is Corbin has 2 lands and a Calibrated Blast. Probably he's got to keep that. On the other hand, we got Corey with Force of Negation and potentially, we don't exactly have a turn 2 sign of Draco, but we at least have it on turn 3. If not, we're still going to be playing Expressive Iteration on turn 2. And on the play, I think that is not too bad. But the problem here is that Calibrated Blast can be played at instant speed, which is going to make the Force of Negation like super awkward and clunky.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, and I think the other thing too you mentioned before was like, I mean, so counter spells are obviously like level 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
How exactly is Corbin supposed to get through a variety of counter spells? As looks like Territorial Kavu here is the pickup for turn.
Oh, that's a great draw because, I mean, Corey needs to get some pressure going on. Well, there is something called Boseiju, who shelters all. Comes into play tapped, but you can tap it to pay 2 life and add 1 to your mana pool. And if that mana is spent on an instant or sorcery spell, it can't be countered by spells or abilities. Unfortunately, not in Corbin's hand, not in play either. So, but like that is the way to beat the counter spells. And unfortunately, I don't think Corey has a good way to counter that interaction unless he can get enough life to get out of range of 2 Calibrated Blasts. Oh, we do actually. It's the fancy arts got to me. We do have a Boseiju who shelters all because it's also Isengard, Saruman's fortress. So
Okay, well, that's actually kind of badass. I like this a lot. This means that Corey now. I mean, like obviously the red flags are going to go off here, right?
Yes, so he has to spend Corbin has to spend at least 4 life casting 2 Calibrated Blasts. That's putting him effectively at 12. So Corey's got to get a lot of damage in super fast. Sign of Draco can come down this turn, I think.
That might cost 4 mana because there's blue, red, green, white. Do we have
Oh, yeah,
black?
that's right. Yeah, we don't. Blue green. So yeah, that's right. So it's yeah, we can't get it down here.
Okay, so then maybe seeing the Boseiju slash Isengard in play, what is the next decision there? And wow, look at this. We're playing the land before casting Expressive Iteration. What might be the reason for that?
Let's see what's on top of it. Let's see what's on top of the deck and find out. I mean, I guess the idea is he didn't want to take any more damage from his deck. So we have
Oh,
a Leyline of the Guild Pact, a
I'm dumb.
Lightning
I
Bolt,
realized it.
and
You,
Lightning Bolt might be one of the cards you might want to have. I don't know what Leyline of the Guild Pact would do right now. Fortunately, a bit too slow, but he takes it. Takes
I,
Leyline.
yeah. I set you up for failure there. That's my bad. You literally cannot use Temple Guard to cast Expressive Iteration. So what's interesting here is that he's saying, okay, I need
Oh yeah.
to, even though I can't get the second card like of worth of value off of the Expressive Iteration, I like there's a Boseiju on the other side, and I
Mhm.
just have to get the engine going. I have to spend my mana and I have to cast spells. So that makes sense. That is a narrative that checks out for sure.
Now, if Corey thought he had enough time, it would be good to get Scion in play, or Leyline of the Guild Pact in play, followed by Scion. That would that wouldn't be too bad at all, and then start gaining huge chunks of life. But I don't think it's going to come in time. We're going to go Calibrated Blast into Calibrated Blast, and I don't think there's a good way to interact with this right now.
Okay,
Territorial
I
Kavu
mean,
will draw go 1 card deeper to see what we can do.
and what is the pickup here? Discard, draw Ragavan. Okay, that doesn't seem like it's going to be good enough.
It's for 12. Really needed that Scion last. Would it have mattered? Good attack for a little bit more this turn? I'm not sure. Because
I
it's
mean,
not free to play that Boseiju. You gotta pay 2 life. Then you gotta pay 2 life again.
yeah. The clock is what I'm thinking about too. Like, is there a world where maybe Corbin misses a bunch and then you know Corey's able to steal a win here?
Yeah, I believe there's some way. Like, couldn't Calibrated Blast hit a Throes of Chaos into, or how does it work? There's some situations where it's like Calibrated Blast into Throes of Chaos into Calibrated Blast. Something like that. Or hold on, no,
Okay.
it's Calibrated Blast into just another Calibrated Blast. there are situations where you go Calibrated Blast, you just deal 3 damage. It's just not statistically likely.
Okay, well, at this point, 3 damage I think will be good enough after having hit a Haymaker for sure, and this one also cannot be countered. So Corey, like even though has a very good board here, 4 or 5 points of power in play, ample mana, ample spells for the next few turns, is kind of just staring at this Force Negation. It's like, well, I can't do anything, and
Yeah.
Corbin's going to take the first game. I'm starting to wonder. I mean, this feels like the week of upsets. Spike has been on a tear with this Brew. Corey is playing a very established deck in this metagame now, this Blue Zoo deck. And it looks like the underdogs are here to stay in this tournament, to survive for one more week. Sorry, I hope you don't mind me calling Universal Automaton the underdog. I respectfully.
Respectfully, the underdog.
All right, so chat with me a little bit about sideboards, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't see a single spell in one of our players' sideboards.
Yeah, what's going to end up happening is I think Corey's going to just try to bring in anything useful. He's maxing out on creatures like Fable of the Mirror Breaker, also dig for any important cards, still keeping maximum counterspells that are relevant, like Counterspell and Force of Negation. Interestingly, shaves 1 Lightning Bolt, but going to keep the whole Scion Leyline package intact so that if there is a turn 2 Scion and gain 4 life a turn, that is going to pull ahead and probably soak up at least 2 potential Calibrated Blasts. And then on the other side, not sure what Corbin is hoping to do here. So we got a bunch of Boseijus coming in, I guess, to deal with the Leyline of the Guild Pact, or if anything, hit a Sign of Draco if it's somehow in play anyway.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, honestly, like if we had to play a million game ones, not that I'm suggesting that I would never do that, but it does seem like Calibrated Blast, if you can just mulligan to like, the right hand here, you could come up with a very non-interactive sequence that really punishes these decks that are trying to like journal around, right? Like traditionally, Domain Zoo is the kind of deck that will just play creature into creature into creature, and then maybe Tribal Flames here. But this build is a little bit more I think you mentioned this to me like when we were setting up for this round, but it's more akin to like Murktide. Like, is it Murktide? Just it plays Scion of Draco and Leyline of the Guild Pact, right? So I kind of get the feeling that Corbin is favored with the right draws.
Oh yeah, his best draws beat Corey's best draws. That's for sure.
Right. And so going into this next game, I feel like you're really just looking to do what you're normally doing, but maybe with tiny bits of interaction, as opposed to like, I mean, I really don't even know how much this deck can actually sideboard too. I'll be very honest with you.
It's a funny thing with Corbin's sideboard. I don't envy the sideboarding because there's like a lot of cards I'm not sure. Is this what you want to take out? Do I take out this? Do I bring it? It's like a bunch of lands that he has in his sideboard. And then of all your lands, which ones do you shave?
You can do the good old Anu strategy, which is just close your eyes, put your 15 cards in, and then randomly take 15 cards out. Patented, yes. All right. Well, looking at the opening hands here, I'm seeing double Scion of Draco, Aspara's Headquarters, Stomping Ground Citadel, Arid Mesa, and another land. And it looks like there's the Emrakul for the turn. And then from Corey's side, a couple copies of Expressive Iteration. Oh. No, we're finishing mulligans. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then he decides to mulligan down to a combo piece, Calibrated Blast. So he does have turn 3 Blast, but no protection. But there's no protection on Corey's side either. I mean, Corey's got to dig for something with Ragavan and Expressive Iteration.
Yeah, now hopefully this time around, I mean, with Ragavan in play, you're going to be able to attack, generate some mana. Maybe you can do something cool off of this, like a turn 2 Expressive Iteration to find one of your counter spells or Force Negations. But generally, I don't know. Like, how much disruption in your history, in your time playing against the Calibrated Blast deck, do you find is enough to sort of take it down?
Usually just like 2 pieces usually does it. You just have to hope that they don't have Boseiju, because that's like the key card that protects everything. But then you're sort of asking them to have the Calibrated Blast and the Boseiju in hand. So otherwise, I think the blue deck with enough disruption can close out the game.
Okay. All right. Well, Ragavan attacks turn 2, makes a treasure token. Iteration is going to be cast off the treasure token. It's going to put a Scalding Tarn into play, and there it is. There's the Leyline of the Guild Pact, which eventually we might be able to cast for the very fair price of 4 mana.
The awkward thing though for Ori is you don't want to get your life total to 15. I mean, after the Scalding Tarn, you're going to go to 16, and that's it. I mean, the lands, almost like Flooded Strand is turned offline. Temple Garden has to come into play tapped and clunky. So quite a few turns are going to go be passed back and forth, and I think that favors Corbin by quite a bit.
Okay, interesting. Well, you said 15 is the magic number here. So Scalding Tarn going to put Corey down to 16 for the Zagoth Triome.
Mm.
And does that give us, that doesn't quite yet give us the ability to play the Scion of Draco because we don't have white, but with the Temple Garden in the hand, we can definitely do it. Oh, we also have the treasure token. Okay, so there's options. We can set up to our Voltron, if you will, of Scion of Draco plus Leyline of the Guild Pack. Now, this is an interesting position. Do you shock to? Okay. Corey's not playing any
No.
games. To like
That would
double
be too
Scion or
bold.
something. Yeah.
Little too bold to shock.
All right. What is
But
kind of cool is though that Scion of Draco gains life at a much faster pace than I mean, okay. Well, actually, is that even true? How many Scion of Draco attacks need to happen for uh us to be in a good position?
probably like maybe twice if you have two Scions in play. But like, what turn are you going to do this? I mean, you still need to get this Leyline of the Guild Pact in play, and
Ooh.
then after you do that, still two Calibrated Blasts kill you. Now, fortunately for Corey, there's only one Calibrated Blast uh, in Corbin Hostler's hand, so maybe. Well, actually, there's some problems. Okay, there's one Calibrated Blast. There's also a Ramanap runes. So you could go, for example, Calibrated Blast, and then next turn sack the Ramanap runes to deal the last few points of damage. Because if you go Scion of Draco here, then you would die to Calibrated Blast Ramanap runes. But if you go Leyline of the Guild Pact, then you gain 6 life and you get out of range of that Calibrated Blast Ramanap runes line.
Okay. So you're thinking like way farther ahead than I am. You're like in 2020 million, and I'm just like looking at this hand, kind of just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. The force negation was a tight pickup here, and I guess Corey is now debating what the options are in terms of whether or not we are supposed to uh hold up force negation, maybe jam double Scion of Draco to present the clock, or play Leyline of the Guild Pact. And it looks like we're in the red zone.
Yeah, it looks now with Force Negation in hand, it's actually so much more appealing to just play a Scion of Draco and hold up Force Negation. And I mean, that just might be a clean win from here.
Yeah, I guess that, I mean, by math, 2 plus 4 plus 4 is, checking my notes, 10.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just easy.
Yeah. And this also gives you the ability to play around an end step Calibrated Blast because it is in fact an instant. We saw that put to great work in earlier matches where we were casting it on the end step, untapping and casting it again in our main phase.
Right.
And this is so cool too, because of this turn one Ragavan, we even have the mana to just cast Force of Negation without cracking the Flooded Strand, without going down to 15. So now even a top deck something isn't something.
Yeah, the top deck Calibrated Blaster Throes of Chaos isn't top decking at all. And I think now it looks like Corbin just has no choice but to play like a Boseiju on a Sign of Draco.
Which like isn't really bad. Ooh, wait a minute. Does this do anything?
Actually, I don't even know if he has mana. Can you cast this Boseiju? What's going on here? Oh, you're
You
gonna
have
make
the
some
Spires Activity.
blockers. Okay, that's cute. So you can block a Ragavan, take 8, go to 1, and
Woohoo!
then you can even attack with a. I mean, in theory, you could attack with a Spirit, attack for 1, and then maybe win on the and then win with a Calibrated Blast. But we know there's a Sign of Draco in hand. We know there's an Obsidian Charma in hand. So none of this is actually going to happen.
You know, I don't blame Corbin for trying.
Oh yeah, you got to play to your outs.
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking to Corbin earlier today, he was just like, you know what? Regardless of how today goes, I've accomplished my goal. And then I asked him, you know, Corbin, what's your goal? He said, I just wanted to play 2 decks that were fun in this event. And came with Mill, now is here with Calibrated Blast, saw a really cool list at the Hunter Burton Memorial Open, and, you know, is 1 game away from just staying in this tournament one step closer to the top 8, knocking out the last season champion, Corey Baumeister, one of the, you know, better players in the world. Don't tell Corey I said that. And yeah, okay, we're going to game 3.
We are going to game 3. And I knew the match is going to be close no matter what. I think a lot depends on if Corbin gets the hand or not. So if there's a
Hmm.
Boseiju and Calibrated Blast in hand, I would say Corey's chances have sunk to almost nothing. And it's going to be even harder based on the fact that Corbin gets to go first. That's going to make a lot of his counter spells not very flexible.
Yeah. I mean, taking a look at the sideboarding for like a very brief moment as Corbin's going to mulligan here at least one time. I think I saw basically the most obvious change to in my mind, which was just cutting some of the gemstone caverns and putting literally any other land that could
Yeah,
potentially generate
it's
some value.
useless. Not
Okay,
really a good play card.
wait a minute. Hold up. Rest in peace. Why are we playing Rest in Peace?
That interacts with Throes of Chaos, which has Retrace.
Hmm?
Because you can discard a land and replay it from the graveyard, basically infinite times. So that can exhaust counter spells.
Okay.
Look what we have here. We got 2 Throes of Chaos in hand.
Okay. That's Corey came prepared. I guess also Calibrated Blast has a flashback cost of 3 red, right? And so
That's true. Yeah, that's true as well. Calibrated Blast. Yeah, so basically both cards are like a 2-for-1, a 2-for-1 1-card combo.
All right. Well, I mean, based on that, I think I mean this is looking pretty 5-head here from Corey's side. Not only boarding in the Rest in Peace, but I got to do this. I'm gonna go to Moxfield real quick, and I'm gonna look at Corey's deck list, and I'm gonna see how many copies of Rest in Peace are actually in the sideboard. Okay, there's 2 copies. So wait, Corey, you put it back. Oh, I was just about to say, like, step 1, you did it. You put it in your deck. Step 2, you drew it. Wait a minute. Step 3, no. We're going off the script here now, Corey. Ah.
This is not how we wrote it up.
Yeah, seriously. Wait, I'm getting a call from Daybreak right now. Oh no. Hey, Tony, no. I know the script. He's going off script. It's not me. I don't. Oh, okay. Well,
Put the Rest
he
in
hung
Peace
up.
back in hand.
That was a joke, by the way. In case anyone, I must explicitly clarify that was a joke.
I guess the idea is like Rest in Peace may not be as effective here, given you have Force of Negation, and Force of Negation can exile the spell anyway, and it still doesn't deal with the front half of the spell. So
Aha.
I guess Force of Negation is just going to act like our blue Rest in Peace for the moment.
Okay. That is actually a very enlightening perspective. So we exiled a copy of Scion of Draco here to the Ragavan. Can't quite cast it yet, but we can cast Territorial Kavu. That is a 3/3 as it stands, and the goal is to tempo, right? So this turn, we've got Force of Negation open. Next turn is a dicey situation, which we'll get to when we get there. Here's the Calibrated Blast.
Yeah.
I think it's countered.
What is it going to come? Oh, it's awkward. This hollow fountain.
You see it too, right? You see it too. Explain what's awkward about it.
Well, because if you play your shock land to keep your Force of Negation up on your turn, or even on Corbin's turn, are you going to lose 2 life, which now means any Calibrated Blast, or not, I shouldn't say any Calibrated Blast, but you're in range of dying to the Calibrated Blast. I mean, there could be a Calibrated Blast for 15, it's over, game over. Match is lost. You don't really want to put yourself down to, 15. Oh, it doesn't really matter. Sorry, there's a Ragavan in play.
Oh, there you go.
Treasure generator.
All right, good. Well, I like the way this game is going for Corey now. We've got 6 points in, which means we're looking at maybe a 2-3 turn clock here. If we can find maybe the black source to round out the Territorial Kavu. Here comes Calibrated Blast on the upkeep. Corey says, "Hey, yeah, this is my trophy. I don't know if you noticed it, but yeah, I always have it." And counters the Calibrated Blast.
You're gonna take it from my cold dead hands.
Uh-huh.
It looks like unless Corbin can find that Boseiju, and actually I don't even know if the Boseiju is gonna really save him at this point, because this is gonna be 6 damage, from down to 7. Like, I don't know what he does. What could possibly get him out of this situation? Because it requires still 2 comboing off twice, and it's a 2-turn clock for Corey.
Hold up, and we also just exiled a copy of Calibrated Blast.
It's gone.
Yeah, and 2 have been countered by Force of Negation.
The blue Rest in Peace.
Can Corbin even win?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure if there's anything in his deck. I mean, he needed like a Boseiju maybe like one turn ago
Well,
to
no,
go off
because like
this
you can
turn.
only cast the one calibrated blast, and
That's
that's only
right. I mean, yeah.
so where do you get the last 2 points of damage?
Well, it could be from Ramanap runes, but like,
Aha. Okay. 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 All right. Yeah. All right. So we have outs. Well, maybe not.
well,
Not so much anymore.
He needed to play Throes of Chaos that turn though.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So I mean, we're gonna crack for what is this? 7 damage. Is this lethal? We're just looking at 7.
2 + 5.
Plus 5 equals 7.
Checking my notes one more
Yeah.
time.
Let's pull. I'm gonna pull out my calculator. I'll count. I'll call my accountant on this.
Yeah. All right. And there it is. Okay.
And that's it.
I see the GGs in the chat. And yeah. 101, Corey Baumeister says, hey, don't count me out. I'm here.